Hello everyone, Marcelo is my name. I am the niche fragrance collector and I need to confess really quickly, and that is I am a huge fanboy of Alessandro Galtieri. So that makes me unreliable when it comes to being objective about any of his work. So if you're coming here to get a balanced feedback, unfortunately, you're just going to get a very biased view on the stuff that he does. I love his Nasomatto, I've got the full range. And I love his Orto Parisi, also have his full range. And I look forward to now sharing one by one the different ones that are in his collection. Today I'm going to start with one called Boccanera. Now before I go into Boccanera, I need to first sort of explain Orto Parisi. So where does this name come from? What does Orto Parisi actually mean? The name Orto is a vegetable garden, all right? Now, Parisi is the name of his grandfather, Vincenzo Parisi, where he spent a lot of summers. And I'll go into a little bit more detail as I continue to sort of evolve through all the different fragrances. But I do need to start with this. Now, the word orto in Spanish, or in Argentina, I should say, is slang for butthole. Okay, now I know that sounds weird. Go up to an Argentinian and say to him or her, te voy a dar una patada en el orto, and see what they say to you. They'll say, not if I do it to you first. It basically means I'm going to give you a kick, but it's not up the butt. It's actually up the butthole. So orto is actually your butthole. So Boccanera in Italian means, and I want to spray because I want to smell this, black mouth. And black mouth has two parts to it. One, obviously your mouth. The other black mouth is at the opposite end of your body. So he's talking about the duality. So the mouth that feeds and nourishes, and then the other mouth that repels, gets rid of waste, essentially. If you look at the artwork that Alessandro has put against Boccanera, he's also referenced the dark, erotic holes of nature. And just have a look at the imagery associated to Boccanera. And I'm telling you, it doesn't leave, I mean, this is actual, like wood formations or things of that nature. But it definitely looks like human anatomy. It looks like human parts, black holes of the body, basically. But what's this fragrance about? This is the key. So all this sounds very ominous, and you think to yourself, who would buy this? Who's insane enough to buy something like this? This sounds very dark. In actual fact, if I could sort of categorize it, this is chili, bitter, dark chocolate, woody kind of fragrance. It definitely falls into a gourmand category, but this is a chocolate that I don't have in my collection. So I do have some chocolate scented fragrances or fragrances that have like a chocolate accent, whereas this is a bitter chocolate style fragrance. It opens up. Actually, I'm going to spray again. Now, just give you a heads up, do not overspray on any of the Orto Parisis. They're very robust, but I am going to do a second spray because I want to go into the opening notes of this, and I want to talk about it realistically rather than from memory. Alessandro doesn't reveal his notes, so you don't exactly know what's in here. There's only two things that are in here that he actually admits to. One is, I think it's called Pisse de Cheval, and the other one is called Boya Butter. Now, I'll explain a little bit more in the other episodes that I'm going to do what these two things are, but Boya Butter essentially is oud. So he's saying that in all of these fragrances, there is an oud base across the whole range. This one here, yes, when it dries down, you do get a bit of an oud signature near the end. On the opening, it does have a slight bergamot or citrus to my nose, but it also has a very distinct and pronounced chili note. There's a spiciness that comes through, and for me, I'm talking about an actual a pepper or a red chili more than anything else. It then, so half an hour from now, it'll then move across. So right now, it's still kind of chili, kind of spicy, and then in about half an hour's time, it'll migrate across into this beautiful bitter chocolate, but to the point where it's moreish. There is to the point where you actually want to eat some chocolate. My wife enjoys when I wear this fragrance. This is definitely a going out fragrance. This is definitely an evening fragrance. The sillage that this produces is spectacular. And honestly, when I walk past my wife with this, she's always making some comments. She's always enjoying this. Now, I find that both chocolate, which is in the fragrance, chili, which is also in the fragrance, both of them I regard it as aphrodisiacs. I know that that sensation of chocolate there's a sensuality as you're eating that. There's an awesome book by a Mexican author called Like Water for Chocolate, Como Agua para Chocolate. And essentially it's about forbidden love. And it's a woman who is in love with a man who's married to another woman, bada boom. And the way that, and she's actually the cook of this household, and she imbues her food with her lust, with her sexual desire into the food, to which he then eats. And there's this, it's all about food, how food is linked to, I guess, sensuality. There's one particular scene where the man, his name is Pedro, gives her, and I think her name was Tita, something like that, Tita I think it was, he gives her flowers, these roses, and she makes this dish with those roses. The movie is good, but read the book. But I would recommend that you read the book alongside your partner, because you're gonna get hot under the collar, and at least both of you guys will be at the same page, and you'll be like, you know what, let's put this book down and let's recreate some of these scenes in the book. But there's this one thing where she just puts all her lust into this dish, and you see it sort of manifests itself as they're eating this food. Now, for me, Bocanera is all about sensuality. It's all about, I don't want to say erotic desires, because, you know, it's a bit much, but it definitely is, it does lean towards that sexy, sensual, it's definitely, this would be an awesome fragrance to go out on a date with. It'll be, and whether you are meeting someone for the first time or whether you're going out with your partner, it has an awesome aura that just, well, it'll just sort of ooze out of you. Now the word, like water for chocolate, so the name of the book, the Mexicans make their chocolate with water, and the idea is that they get the water just to the point of boiling. So this I guess this moment is actually happening, all that tension, and it's a metaphor for all that sexual tension that's rising up. And at that moment, then you add the chocolate, and that sates the water and the passion that's there. Anyway, awesome fragrance. Strongly recommended, big fan of it. I love wearing it. It is my evening fragrance. It's an awesome going out fragrance. Thank you everyone. In coming weeks, I will be talking about the rest of the Orto Parisi range, and I'll also be sharing some other things about what makes this range so unique and so different, and what is Boya Butter. That's an interesting one. Thanks everyone. We'll see you on the next episode.